Hello there. The manga Ningyo Hime no Gomen ne Gohan, also known in English as The Mermaid Princess's Guilty Meal, is a manga about a mermaid princess who develops an unhealthy addiction to eating seafood and all of her fish friends. It's also a comedy and gourmet series, and not a drama, thriller, or mystery as you might expect. It also has the best Breaking Bad reference in the history of Breaking Bad references across all stories and mediums in the universe, and this picture here is only scratching the surface of that reference. Welcome, gentles and ladymen, to Bison Storytime, my new reaction, recap, and essay channel. Today's video, and this channel's first video, is me telling you about the first 6 chapters of this hilarious manga. Our story begins deep under the sea, where we meet Princess Ella, who is also sometimes Princess Era, because this manga is not consistent. She is the mermaid and daughter of the King of the Seas. She's caring, revered by all fish kind, and also she's super hot. However, this particular morning where our story begins, one of her fish friends, Bonito, has gone missing. He has been caught by a local human. Ew. He's a local fisherman. And as there is no one with Bonito's corpse to mourn him, as he is probably being cooked at the moment, our princess changes into some human clothes and travels to the surface with the intention of ordering her friend at the local seafood restaurant that caught him so that she can give him a proper farewell. It's worth noting, we are running on the Little Mermaid rules, where her tail becomes human legs when she surfaces, and turns back into a fishtail when underwater. She is served her friend at the restaurant by the unsuspecting cook, and damn if that doesn't look delicious. Whew! She offers a prayer to the plate in front of her, and to all the other fish in the restaurant, and then gets up to leave without eating. But another customer imparts some local beliefs that if the fish isn't eaten, it won't go to heaven. So, to cross her T's and dot her I's, and for a proper send-off, she reluctantly decides to take a bite. Now, naturally, just as a first gut punch reaction, her friend is so tasty it causes her to involuntarily orgasm, because this is still a cooking manga, and that's par for the course. She then eats the rest of it in pleasurable bliss. Alright, so remember how I mentioned that this is a gourmet manga? Alright, well that means that this actually includes recipes for real food you can make. For example, it completely stops the story right here to tell you exactly what recipe was used on her good friend. In case you want to cook your best friend too. After completely finishing the bowl, the chef also offers her the cooked and severed head of Bonito, and that shocks her back to reality, causing her to retreat in disgust over what she did and why she liked it so much. Once she gets back home, she has a hallucination where she sees all of her best friends as delicious platters of seafood. Yep, we can only go uphill from here. Woo! Next time we see our Princess Ella, she is praying in front of a funeral picture of her best friend, whom, I remind you, she ate. Apparently, he loves baseball. I'm not exactly sure how. She is suddenly interrupted by one of her 3 best friends, a squid being attacked by an angry-looking tuna with a scar on his eye. He orders the tuna to stop because eating fish is wrong. He responds that he is hungry. She starts to claim that sea creatures should never eat fish, but then stops herself and corrects to a much more modest, don't eat my friends, please. Tuna says you either eat or get eaten, and he's the former, and then immediately proceeds to get caught by a local fisherman and switch to the latter. Apparently also an old acquaintance of Ella, she once again ventures to the surface and finds a sushi restaurant who is selling Mr. Tuna and orders him. It's revealed in a flashback that the scar on the tuna's eye was from saving a young child Princess Ella from a fishing hook. The words he leaves her in the flashback are to never let herself become the one that gets eaten. This is immediately followed by another taste orgasm as she eats her tuna friend in the form of sushi. Get used to this, it's part of the cooking genre charm in the manga world. Here's the recipe she ate, by the way. Now there's 2 memorial pictures in her room. Yay! Our story continues by meeting Princess Ella's royal chef, who's made all her delicious vegetarian seafood dishes she's eaten for the last 10 years. Unfortunately, Ella doesn't seem to be enjoying her food anymore, and it's troubling the chef. Everything she makes, even the princess's favorite food, just aren't getting the usual response. Though not for lack of appetite, the chef notices that Ella seems to be watching her with much fervor and attention as she cooks. One could almost say Princess Ella was drooling over the sight of her fish friend cooking food. Only it's too bad all she could see was the chef as the meal that she really wanted. Next, I would like you to meet this fucking thing. It's a random background character that's never to be seen again. I have many questions. Moving on! Meet our next fish. Cool guy gang leader and delinquent, and also friends of the princess, Cody the Cod. It's New Year's, and he's planning on celebrating by taking his gang and attacking a fishing boat to avenge some of their fallen friends over the years. Also, he smokes, which, much like the baseball thing, I'm not really sure how that works as a fish. But knowing this series, I wouldn't be surprised if it turns into a smoked cod joke later. She begs him not to go in a panel that reaffirms how hot she is. And then, surprising absolutely nobody, he and his entire Call of Duty clan get caught and served at the local restaurant she's been eating all of her friends at. The restaurant's name is Utomo, by the way. And wouldn't you know it, guess who's there to say goodbye and grab a tasty, if guilty, snack but our princess. Apparently, a while ago, this gangster asked the princess to join his gang, and even got her a custom-fit, tailored biker jacket-looking thing just in case she changed her mind after she refused. Then we get this absolutely hilarious shot of her jumping out of the water while miming sitting on a motorcycle wearing the jacket, and it's just... This manga is perfect. There's so much beauty in the world, you know? Ugh. Cody wanted to prove his manliness, which makes it somewhat ironic that the customer sitting next to Ella got served cod sperm sacks for dinner. By the way, nice look, Cody. You really cleaned up. Man, I wish my meals casually sparkled like that. Ella then surprises us by revealing that she actually came up here to make a vow of fasting in front of Cody's corpse. Her guilt prompting her to stop eating fish cold cod style. A demon and angel appear on her shoulder after she makes her vow and looks at Cody. The demon says to just eat it already, so she instead looks to her guardian angel for advice, who tells her to just eat it already. Just as she's about to give in to temptation, a loud crash permeates the room as a waiter dropped a dish, knocking her back into reality and giving her the strength to leave the store. Except that this actually knocked her out of reality and not in reality, and she realizes that she's just imagining leaving, and Cody is already halfway down her throat. God, this series is good. While she's at it, she eats a sausage made out of all of his gang members ground into a sausage link. Very cool. Chapter 4 begins with this wonderful panel asking who's gonna show up in the next memorial picture. It's also our break in the formula. We get to meet Songo, another mermaid and head of the Sea Palace's Institute of Human Research. She's in the middle of discovering that someone has been breaking in and stealing human money. How it's not all ruined from being water is unclear. I wonder who it could be. Her thoughts on the matter, however, are interrupted by Mr. Murray, informing her that she's been tasked by the king to counsel his daughter as she's been distressed lately for some reason. This is not exciting news for Songo, who seems to hate dealing with annoying shit. Era has shut herself up in the room, and all the fishy friends don't want to interrupt. BAM! In comes Songo, kicking the door open because she doesn't have the energy to deal with petty shit. She walks in on a sulking Ella crying all over the pictures of her dead and eaten friend, and Songo offers her some real amazing advice. Good idea, Songo. This is generally what I tell all my friends to do when they suffer from depression and suicidal thoughts. After all, if they ignore my advice and keep sulking, that's their fault, not mine. Boom! All mental health problems in the world have just been solved. She's then informed that this happened after Princess Ella came back from the surface, and she tells her to stop going up there. Their conversation is interrupted by a fish announcing that Kisumi, a famous fish musician, has been caught. In an attempt to make Ella afraid of the surface, Sango tells how Kisumi is probably going to be made into tempura right now, and goes into gross detail over the cooking process, causing everyone in the room to shudder in horror. Except for Ella, whose stomach proceeds to loudly growl in front of everyone. Fortunately, they all mistake it as an earthquake, though. After Sango finishes reading the tempura recipe, everyone looks up to see that Era is completely gone! She ditched the stage! Yep, she left in the middle of that and swam right to the surface to get tempura. Turns out, it's even Kisumi, and Sango was right on the money. Add Kisumi to the collection with Bonito, Tuna, and Cody. Next, we're quickly introduced to her family members. There's her dad, her brother who always wears a mask for some reason, her grandpa who's on death's door, her equivalent of a dog, and oh my god, that's her mother? What the fuck is that? Next morning, Ella's close friends Mackerel and Master Amberjack discover that Ella is missing. She's ran away, again, and left a note asking them not to look for her. Okay, just a fair warning, shit, like, completely hits the fan from now on in the story. Next, we get to meet a fisherman and his pet cat. They just discovered an unconscious Ella washed up on the beach, completely surrounded by cats, because she presumably smells like a fish. Then again, that applies to most girls, depending on where you smell them. Ella wakes up in this man's house, discovers she's afraid of cats, and is offered a ride home by our fisherman friend. He also asks her name, and we discover our princess has amnesia! Oh no! None too pleased by this, he suggests that she might look in her bag to see if there's anything that could ID her. And in her bag is... But she just fucking leaves, and he doesn't see her again for 2 months until she shows up on the news as an independent party prime minister candidate who's favored to win? What? What is this story? It's quickly revealed that our fisherman friend is actually the son of the owner of Utomo, the restaurant that she always eats her friends at. Apparently, she's just randomly treated as royalty by all of her voters, too, because she's just that special and nice. Oh, and her campaign motto is, the freshly caught princess. Miss Era, since you're getting the votes of the local fishermen in this election, what's your opinion on the TTP? Good question. I don't know what that is, but I will do my best to study it from now on. Our candidate, gentles and ladymen. Finally, a politician who tells the truth and I can get behind. Previous job? Cute fishwife. I have questions. Current job? Fisher Empress. I have even more questions. Oh, and thank you for letting me know that her handwriting is terrible. I really don't know why I needed to know that, but now I do. And so do you. Just saying, looking at her opponent, I would still vote for her. Her and her campaign team then have a celebration over the campaign's success by coming back to Utomo for some nice, delicious seafood. Upon tasting seafood, she regains her memory and realizes that A, she's a cannibalistic mermaid princess, B, that the fish she's eating is a friend of hers, because of course it is, C, that she remembers she tripped on a cat and knocked her head on a piece of stone, which is what gave her amnesia, and then D, she immediately resigns from the campaign, opting to instead sulk in a room offered by the store owner because she's upset at how much she enjoyed eating her friends. Well, I guess that whole plotline was for nothing, and we just have a 2-month time skip. By the way, here's how you fillet a fish. Thanks, manga. Back home, there's been an investigation into Princess Ella's disappearance over the last 2 months. Sango meets her mother, and is so creeped out that she says it's no wonder she ran away. Okay, now the part that you've all been waiting for. The Breaking Bad episode. Jesse, we need to cook! Done, Mr. White. Yes, science.
You're goddamn right.
Ella is trying to fast again when the restaurant owner enters the room stating that his restaurant is dead and gonna be going out of business. The reason? there's a new opening for a famous chain restaurant called Los Pescados that just opens nearby, known as the black ships of the takeout food industry. Los Pescados is famous for their fish burger, which apparently tastes so good that some people have died after eating it, which causes a now drooling Ella to completely give up on her fasting. Again, at the restaurant, we are greeted by the manager, who says, due to the flood of customers, it'll be a 40-minute wait, and... oh my god, is that supposed to be Gus? Yeah, it is! Look at his name tag! It says Sug! It's totally supposed to be Gus! For those unaware, Gus is a huge drug lord in New Mexico in the show Breaking Bad, and uses a chicken restaurant to cover it up and launder his money. And that restaurant's name is Los Polos Hermanos. Oh, I get it, manga. Los Pescados, I see what you did there. Oh, this is great. Anyways, somebody who ordered a while ago just got his food. It's an order of 40 fucking fish burgers? Are you kidding me? No wonder it's such a long wait for the food. Anyways, this guy turns out to be none other than an ex-chef from Utomo, and he quit because these fish burgers are way better than anything that restaurant has ever prepared. He tosses a fish to a fisherman guy whose name I learned, but I forgot, and it's intercepted by a hungry Ella, who takes a bite and apparently she finds it fucking disgusting. Turns out she can tell by the taste that there's no real fish in the burger, because it doesn't taste like any of her friends, I guess. She loudly announces this to the restaurant, and the claim is flatly denied by Sug. However, he whispers to her creepily as she walks by. How did you know? And she turns to him and sees him as a demon. And okay, you win, manga. This reference is fucking great. Next, we're shown a bunch of reviews for the fish burger that sound suspiciously like people getting addicted to drugs. Every time I eat a fish burger, I need to hold back. If I didn't, I would eat hundreds of them. Eating one of these burgers gives me the mental acuity I need for my studies. I keep telling myself that too much is a bad thing, but before I know it, I've already eaten them all. My husband recommended this burger to me, and now I'm completely addicted to it. Every bite is pure bliss. I want a true fish burger. I want it. I keep saying this every day. I love its flavor. The type of fish used in these burgers is a trade secret. No. I'm pretty sure not telling people, at the very least, the ingredients is gonna be hella illegal just about anywhere that you go. Even Coca-Cola has to tell you their ingredients, even if the recipe itself is a trade secret. Anyways, it turns out that this spawned an investigation where it was discovered that the fish were indeed fake, and Sug gets arrested. And now the Mexican cartel gets full reign over the drug business in New Mexico. Yay! For saving Utomo, Ella is now a family friend to the restaurant owners, who offer for her to live there with them, and offer to teach her how to fish, which gets this delightful reaction out of her. And this is where our story ends for today. If you want to know what happens next, let me know by liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing to the channel. I also do gaming over on my other channel. If you have any TV shows, movies, anime, or manga I should react or recap, let me know in the comments. I'd love to see what you guys want me to react to. I haven't read any further into this manga, so any future videos on it will be just as blind for me as they are for you. This has been Bison Storytime, and have a wonderful day, and goodbye. Still my